So, how's it going, guys? My name is Nexi, and welcome to my review of F124. Now, if you don't know me, which you most likely don't if you are watching this video only to find out if you should get F124, I'm a YouTuber. I was top 1% in the world on F123 on a controller, and I haven't seen too many people talk about the game and how it feels on controller specifically, so I felt the need to make this video. In this video, I'll be going in depth about how the handling feels for a controller, what to do in different types of corners with a controller, how the setups make a difference on controller, and how overall it feels. This video is recorded before a possible handling update by EA, so keep that in mind. After the handling update, I will be making another video, and that will be linked down in the description. So go watch it if you are watching after a possible day 1 handling update. So my first impression with the game on a default setup around Bahrain, I cannot lie, I was incredibly disappointed. As you can see in the background will be footage of me doing different tracks in time trial. I did all of them. Some felt better, some felt worse. Some you could see that the controller will be a hindrance and you will be second slower than anyone on a wheel, which just not ideal at all. But getting into the default setups then, the first thing I noticed was there was incredibly so much understeer. So like I cannot even explain how much understeer there was going into turn 1 on a default setup in Bahrain, which just felt horrible. And even with a lot of understeer, a lot of traction, so much traction while putting a power down, the car would just drop at random points. Even without using any traction control, the car felt like it was on full traction control, but the traction just felt very unpredictable. It was almost like an F122 but reversed. In F122 you had low unpredictable grip. In F123 you have high unpredictable grip, which is, I don't know if it's worse or not, but on a default setup on controller the car does not feel good from my early impressions. After switching to a custom setup in Bahrain, the car was better, there was more turning, but the traction still just felt unpredictable. Like you could turn in, put the power down, and the car would stick for a second and then drop on you. I cannot explain it, the car just felt impossible to control, and I did not feel like in control of my car almost at any point throughout my first session of the game. Maybe it's something that will get better with time, with a bit of learning, but it's definitely completely different from F123, which I think was the best handling model EA have, or Codemasters rather, have almost ever put out in any F1 game. Another quite worrying thing I found out is that, especially in high-speed corners like Jeddah's first sector, which is playing in the background now, the car would almost correct itself after you like threw it into a corner. Just go full lock, throw it into a corner. The car seems to correct itself, so there's no room for any sliding or any like fast left right hander stuff. I cannot quite explain it, and it's quite niche, but I can't explain it, and you probably won't understand it without trying it yourself. But that's just what it felt like to me, that in high speed corners the car would almost correct itself. I don't know if that's something to do with a controller, or if that's just the game overall, but like it just didn't feel good in high speed at all. The low speed corners were even worse, but the high speed corners weren't that good either. Now, the most important question that I think you all have come to this video for: should you buy F124? If you are a casual player using a controller, I would say give it a go, but only if it's discounted. The default setups do feel very bad on a controller, and that's coming from someone. I really like the default setups in F123. And to an extent in F122 as well. But this year they just seem undrivable. There's so much understeer, so little traction, but if you are just here to have fun, it might feel good for you. Who knows? And if it is really bad, you can just get a setup of the time trial leaderboards and just, you know, tweak it a little bit. It's not that hard. You can find videos for it. If you are a casual controller player, I would say it might not be worth $80, but it's definitely worth like €40, something like this. It's still a fun experience. I believe career mode has been remade this year, so career mode does have a lot more to it than it did last year. So if you are a casual controller player, I would absolutely recommend this game if it is at a discount at any point in the year. However, if you are looking to league race on F1 24, I would not recommend it right now. If you are a competitive league racer like myself, I think controller players this year are going to be struggling extremely, like so much, if they do not update the handling model immediately. I could see some tracks where I was 3 seconds off, like my friends who I was faster than in F1 23. So right now, especially before a handling patch, I do not recommend buying this game if you are looking to race competitively for like a league or something. However, if you do still want to league race, I co-own a F1 league that will be staying on F1 23 for at least one more season, or until they fix the handling on F1 24. So if they don't do anything about it and controller players are still 2-3 seconds slower than wheel players, we will be having a division on F1 23 for the entire year if they don't fix it. I will be linking the Discord of that F1 league down in the description below. Feel free to join and look around. But for now, that's it from me, I guess. These were just my initial thoughts about the game. It doesn't feel good to me. Slow speed corners feel horrible. Medium speed corners feel okay, but not as good as they did on F1 23. And high speed corners, the car keeps correcting itself. It does not feel good to me. I personally didn't find any settings within the game that makes it more enjoyable. I would recommend keeping your wheel rotation at 400 degrees on controller. When I went up, the understeer got a lot worse, so I would recommend keeping that at 400 degrees. Otherwise, just find what works best for you. I might be making a settings video sometime in the future, if you guys want it. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop a comment. I will do my best to answer every single one. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully this video helped you in your decision to make to whether or not to buy F1 24 or not. Obviously, hopefully there is a handling patch as soon as possible. But that is it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Goodbye.